Just when I thought that Mobb Deep's Infinite would be the album of the year and the best release on Mass Appeal, De La Soul drops this new one to shake things up. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Mafia. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't. But today, I'm going to be hitting y'all with my thoughts on this new one from De La Soul entitled Cabin in the Sky. First of all, rest in peace to Trugoy the Dove, aka Plug 2. Dave. Now, De La Soul is a legendary trio from that Native Tongues collective representing Strong Island. They are, of course, pioneers in the lanes of conscious rap, jazz rap, and experimental hip hop. Now, this release, Cabin in the Sky, is actually the second to last drop for the Mass Appeal Legend Has a series in 2025. We have one more big one scheduled to drop, of course, which is Nas and Primo on December 12th. But this new De La is their first release in a little less than a decade. Now, recall, De La has classic albums under their belt, and you could say their 90s run was nearly flawless. But back to Cabin in the Sky. It is a longer one at 20 tracks, lasting around an hour and 10 minutes, but that's pretty much consistent with the runtime of prior De La projects. On the production front, you have beats from De La themselves, Pete Rock, DJ Premier, Super Dave West, Eric, and Joshua Knotts, Jake One, and Sean C. Served as the A&R. Recall that Sean C. was also on that Mobb Deep project. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Cabin Talk, really sets this off in the most cinematic way imaginable. It is narrated by the one and only Giancarlo Esposito, who does a roll call by taking attendance on all the artists and producers who have worked on this project. And the way this opened up was so movie-like. Like, you could literally picture all of these producer legends and rappers in one room with one goal in common, and that was to show out for De La and to keep Dave's name alive. And that makes it really special and motivating. Just thinking of all the creative energy in one room. It's powerful, right? So the first actual song, You Don't Stop, has this elegant orchestral boom bap beat from Dave with these urgent horns and swirling strings. Also very cinematic. And Plug One gets busy here repping for the Strong Island trio. There is perseverance in his tone as he says, so I keep moving at my best. Cindy said, if y'all stop, then Dave stops. And that wouldn't be the short shot. On the back end of this track, Paz and Maceo talk about the key to life is balancing the sunny storms, and that blends seamlessly into the DJ Premier produced Sunny Storms, which many would consider to be one of Primo's best beats in recent memory. You have this celestial boom bap production from Primo. The drums are on point. And the Master Ace scratches are immaculate, really taking you on this journey as a listener. Lyrically, Posdnuos was in his bag, kicking the insightful stuff he's known for. And how can I forget, we do have a beat switch on the second half. The following track, Good Health, produced by Super Dave West, is a futuristic banger with dense drums and those quirky sound effects. The production is overall hard-hitting, and the vocal scratches of OC and Ghostface is a nice touch. The theme to this one is healthy living, and they make it clear that they are here to feed the streets with that good health, not the toxin. Then there is the This Will Be skit featuring Yummy, and this has more of a up-tempo disco flair, just a light-hearted intro that taps into De La's sunnier aesthetic. And this is followed up by their first single, The Package, produced by Pete Rock. So you are getting a lush, minimalist Pete Rock instrumental. The stripped away drums makes it feel a bit more modern, but yet this also sounds like an old school beat that could have been for any Native Tongues member at some point in time. Of course, that's just the magic of Pete Rock. You do get a dope back and forth with Dave and Paz, but Paz has the standout opening lines. LI's finest back at it, premium soul and the rocks the package. A revival of conscious survival. The content is beyond less and idols. Yeah, this one feels signature. De La and Pete Rock did deliver on the production. We get a change in pace with a quick 16 for Mama. This features Killer Mike, and both Paz and Mike do deliver heartfelt odes to their mom. And it's done over a soulful beat from Knots. It feels like it was almost tailor-made for Killer Mike and maybe other Dungeon family members. Things then abruptly shift up-tempo with the track, just how it is sometimes. And this is a relationship storytelling track over a bouncy beat with a sugary R&B hook. The fun and carefree vibes here will likely transport you back to some of their 90s material, even though it's just a pause solo. Afterwards is Cruel Summer, Bring Fire Life, and this is a Maceo mashup of the 80s hit Cruel Summer and Roy Ayers' Everybody Loves the Sunshine. So you do get some rapping from Paz, but it's just a fun little interlude to set the stage for the next one, which is their second single, Day in the Sun, Get It With You, which features Q-Tip and Yummy Bingham. This, of course, has a very groovy soundscape. It's funky with a splash of that psychedelic soul. Really a groove that Q-Tip and Paz News sound right at home over. And, you know, this type of sunny experimental production, it just screams De La. Next is the banger of all bangers on this album, which is Run It Back featuring Nas, who gives us another show-stopping feature verse. But let me know in the comment section if you feel this is the best Nas feature verse on the Mass Appeal releases, or do you think it was on the Big L? Both Paz and Nas get busy over an anthemic beat from Super Dave that feels very classic East Coast. Of course, Nas was the MVP. He talked about a lot of things, but my favorite lines would have to be probably with Napster back in 99. In fact, was Nas deprived from getting diamond plaques? He cries inside about it, never. He just runs it back. I feel there's so much motivation in those he just runs it back lines. And that really sums up a lot of the Mass Appeal series. You know, just that competitive spirit that is so hip hop at its core. Like, nah, we're just gonna run it back and rise to the occasion. I would say the album then switches gears up slightly with the following Different World. So you have this hypnotic production from Pete Rock with a splendid soul sample embedded, really a crisp beat for Paz News to do some reflection, and he opens up a bit more about how Dave's loss has affected him. Immediately after, though, is Patty Cake with both Dave and Paz on the mic over a soothing beat from Jake One that's on the wavier side, but still fitting with that De La aesthetic. Right after, though, we get two DJ Premier produced tracks. The first one is The Silent Life of a Truth, a conceptual song about the truth over a stripped back Primo production that does give off a late 80s feel sonically. And Paz's flow definitely complements that old school flavor. Now, out of the three Primo beats, this one didn't grab me as much. However, it's still a dope track for sure. The energy is there. It's not sleepy, and you get those wise words being spoken. But the third and final DJ Premier installment is NF, and it's one of those ones you get crunchy drums, signature scratches, and his jazzy sax loop. And of course, Primo's cinematic narration. Let's not forget that part. I think that enhances this track. Now, of course, this does feature Black Dot, who likely stole the show, but let me be clear, Plug One definitely held his own. And Black Dot channeled some of Dave's Stakes' high energy with bars like, look, I'm sick of following the masses. I'm sick of giving up game to dudes failing classes. Dudes lame. I'm sick of half-assed hip-hop flows. Sick of passport bros. Sick of hoes with the same fat ass and short nose. Yeah, there are more quotables, but as a whole, classic jazzy Primo production and conscious lyricism. Track 16, though, is Believe in Him, a funky, feel-good gospel record with Super Dave West on the boards, and this one is bound to put you in a good mood. What you have next, though, is yours. Produced by the Chocolate Boy Wonder, featuring Common, and Slick Rick. So this Pete Rock instrumental has such a nostalgic, golden aged sheen to it, something almost ethereal about it as well. It just really personifies the first and golden era. I can't really imagine too many old school heads disliking anything about this particular track, but Common's verse probably stood out the most to me so far. And right after is Palm of His Hands, also produced by Pete Rock, which has a classy, crisp instrumental, a little on the meditative side, but the drums are still punchy. Really a subtle but dope beat, and you get some soulful vocals from Bilal on the hook, really adding to that neo soul layer. And Positive News is giving us some deep felt introspection and OG type wisdom. Second to the last track, though, is the emotionally compelling Cabin in the Sky, produced by Super Dave West. So this beat has a couple layers. It starts out with a bouncy, almost J Dilla Tribe-esque feel, and then the added synth somehow give it an almost mid-90s G-Funk sound. The gospel-like vocal chops really hit home, and Positive News drops some poignant lines about Dave's loss, and he even imagines how his own death would affect his loved ones. So yeah, it's a credits rolling type of closer that just might make you shed a tear. And just when you think it can't get any more emotional, we get the Dave solo track to officially wrap things up, Don't Push Me. And this features Dave rapping from his cabin in the sky, confidently in all his splendor over this uplifting string production. It's Dave having fun with it while also sharing what he hates. And I think they really knocked this one out the park as far as choosing this record to officially close it out. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of 4.5 mics. It wasn't the easiest to digest in a matter of 2 days, but I can definitively tell y'all that everyone here rose to the occasion, just as they did with the Mobb Deep album, although the vibes there are completely different. So what we have gotten here, thanks to Nas, again, is two of the best albums of the year, a back-to-back, both released on Mass Appeal. But back to De La, Cabin in the Sky, it succeeds, I feel, in really tapping into the elements that made De La Soul such a unique and legendary group. This is a complete album with skits and tracks that flow well together. You get the full album experience like you always tend to get from De La. You also get the conscious lyricism, the storytelling, and the silly quirkiness that you would expect from them. But this time around, you are getting even more maturity and even more introspection. On the production front, I'd say DJ Premier was 3 for 3, and I enjoyed all 4 Pete Rock instrumentals. I think I actually liked these a little bit more than the ones he had for Common. Now, Super Dave West was low-key an MVP here on the producer front. Instrumentally, I found it to be engaging from front to back without really a dull moment or any real lull in the track list. That being said, I'm not sure if I will always return to each skit and short interlude here with the same enthusiasm as I will some of the other tracks, but who knows? There's no skips though. Also, the choice of Giancarlo Esposito as the narrator was a great one, as he definitely added a layer of cinema that you don't get on a lot of albums, one that will really have, I think, a lot of listeners fully immersed when you press play. But props to Nas once more for helping to keep that competitive energy alive in hip-hop in 2025. I know we all can't wait for December 12th. My favorite tracks include You Don't Stop, Sunny Storms, Good Health, The Package, A Quick 16, For Mama, Day in the Sun, Run It Back, Different World, The Silent Life of a Truth, and Yours, Palm of His Hands, Cabin in the Sky, and Don't Push Me. But let me know in the comment section your thoughts on this project. It is your boy Mixtape Moth. I am signing out. As always, is peace and blessings. De La Soul, Cabin in the Sky. 1.